Jeremy Collins competed on the 29th season of San Juan Del Sur, where he finished in 10th place. A strong player who looked to have formed a dominant game-winning alliance early, he was soon targeted for his gameplay and was blindsided in a shocking vote-out just after the merge and was the second member of the jury. I spoke to Jeremy about why he still hasn't recovered from his vote-out, why he thought the game was in the bag after Josh was voted out, as well as the truth behind outing Rocket in the way he did after Val was voted out, and just what Jeff Probst went out of his way to do for his brother during the initial casting of the show. Jeremy, welcome back to Survivor Oz.
Hey, thanks, Ben. Hey, 10th place sounds so bad, man. I don't like
that. I always need to work out my introductions because I get that a lot, I have to say, that people say, oh, that sounds terrible. So I'll say the second jury member from San Juan Del Sur. Does that sound a little bit better?
That sounds a little better. I'll take it.
Yes. But obviously, 2015 into full swing now, mate. All things have, I guess, calmed down. Are you back into the firefighting? Everything's sort of slowly back into normal life now?
Yeah, I mean, it actually was, as soon as I came back from California, I was working the following day. I was right back into it and back to normal.
There you go. How was the reaction from all the guys at the firehouse from your time on the show?
They love it. You know, they give me a hard time with, some of the things I said, and, a couple times I was crying a little bit. They give me a hard time on that, but, they love it. They have a good time with it.
That's how to go. And I'm guessing this week you're all pretty happy after the Patriots win in the Super Bowl too. You still celebrating from that?
Wasn't that just awesome? That game was unbelievable. That game was incredible. And then we had, Kelly and Dale from Seattle. Yep. So we had a little bet going on Twitter and everything. So now they have to wear Patriots gear and post it on Twitter.
Wow.
So you're on Twitter, you got to make sure you tell them that,
Yes. We'll make sure that we get that out there to them so they go through with their bet. But going into Survivor, obviously, you're a massive fan of the show. How many times had you actually applied to be on Survivor? Was this your first time, or did you apply before?
I mean, I've been applying for 10 years. I might have missed one or two seasons in between there where I didn't apply, but for the most part, I probably put tapes in for about 6 or 7 years. Yeah.
Wow. Did you get close to any other season, or was this sort of the furthest that you'd obviously ever gotten?
I mean, every year, every time I put in a video, they call me back, and I think I just wasn't ready. The first time I put in a video, I tell them, I'm 25 years old, and I think I'm just going to be the most physical person out there and beat everybody in challenges. So I tell them this, and, they tell me, you're not ready yet, and, come back next time. So then the next year I come on and I say, I'm going to add a little bit of this into my physical. And, so every year I get, more well-rounded as a survivor. So I think this final season, it was a good time for me to put my whole game plan into effect, and having Val's awesome, so she didn't hurt my situation and my chances of getting on, so it was good.
Yeah, it finally worked out. So was Val your first choice when they sort of said to you, okay, this is going to be blood versus water? Did you put Val forward? Was it your twin brother? Who did you put forward initially?
So Val was probably my fourth choice.
Wow.
And I'll tell you why, because I think Val would beat me if it was one-on-one,
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If I'm in the game with her, I think she would beat me. And, I'm like, why would I bring somebody on Survivor? I've been trying to get on for 10 years. Why would I bring somebody that could beat me? You know what I mean?
Mm.
So my first choice was my twin brother. And so I said to him, I said, his name is Josh. I said, Josh, you want to go on Survivor? And the first thing he said to me was, hey, they got rats out there, don't they? And I was like, exactly, perfect. This is what I need. Like, I want you to come on and you get into a fight with somebody and you get arguing and they vote you out, and then I could just work my game by myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
And that didn't work out. And then my younger brother, I tried him too, and he didn't work out. My older brother, I tried. He wanted it. He was thinking about doing it, but his schedule conflicted. So it was. I have a bunch of people in my family that I was going for, and it just didn't work out with any of them.
And then it's interesting, I think, with you and Val, though, pre-game. It's that I know from my standpoint, I predicted Val as a winner and you as second. A bunch of people on our show predicted you guys to go very far. So it's kind of interesting, I think, from all the pre-game stuff that people were watching, just how respected and how well people think you were going to do. I mean, did you kind of read some of these before the season started and think, wow, gee, people really thought we were going to do well?
Yeah, and the thing is with that, I read all that, and I don't even think about, and it was my fault, I didn't think about that going into the game. But if you think about it, everybody that sees us and talks to us on, in the interviews, and they pick us to go high, then our competitors are also seeing that, there's something about us that they think we're going to go far in the game, and they don't want that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if this is how I'm thinking going forward when I watch every season of Survivor. If I look at somebody, I'm thinking, you know what, they're going to win it. They could win it. I got to suspect that everybody else in that season is thinking the same thing I'm thinking, and take them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's. I mean,
I don't know if I'm being confusing or whatever.
No, you're making complete sense. You are, because I will say my predictions are terrible, Jeremy. I've never predicted a winner, so I think we're thinking the same page there.
That's what you do. So when you think this person has no shot of winning. Pick that person, and they're going to probably win it,
Yes. Well, I mean, your season, we spoke a little bit to this yesterday with Natalie and Jacqueline, because it's kind of fascinating with the people on your season, like yourself, Josh, Reed, we had Kelly, we had a bunch of people who were, as you said, students of the game. They were very familiar with Survivor. But then, for the most part, there were lots of people who were new. They hadn't seen that much of it, so they were adapting. And you summed that up pretty well at the reunion when you said that about Keith. And I'm guessing from your standpoint, that makes it a little bit difficult to play because you've got so many unpredictable people. You don't know what they're going to do, so you're trying to have to work your game around people who, in the end, ultimately would vote you out.
Yeah, and with Blood vs. Water, it's even harder because if one person doesn't know what they're doing or isn't familiar with the game, that's fine. You can get by that. But if two people don't know and they're together, that's dangerous. And now what if they jump with two more people that don't know the game? So that's four people that could take over a game right there. So with Blood vs. Water, it's a little tougher when people don't know technically how this game is working. I think that's the hardest part. But in a game when it's all singles, it's fine to have a couple people that don't know what they're doing, as long as they don't team up together and make a little, an alliance that could take out people.
So
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm guessing early on when you separated, it's kind of a good aspect at the start to be separated from your loved ones because you can try and build those relationships that you would be doing if it was, say, on a single season of Survivor.
And you know what? And that's the thing. So in my season, it just worked out that Val went to exile, and I picked Keith. I had no idea that Keith was a firefighter, but magically I'm like, oh, this is perfect. He's a firefighter. His son's a firefighter. I'm a firefighter. We have a nice thing that can go on right now. And then Keith turns around, and he doesn't know anything about a sub-alliance, and, he goes and tells everybody, if he knew anything about Survivor, I could have had a nice little sub-alliance right there, along with my other alliance, and things could have been going, and, it could have been a lot different for me, you know what I mean?
It must have been so frustrating from that aspect then, when you're obviously taken out, and Keith, basically, you would say, was winning a challenge of possibly winning the game. I mean, we saw that poll at the reunion, and, a few people, I think, were on the fence there, weren't they? So, but, does that make it frustrating? And no disrespect to Keith, because obviously Keith is a very nice guy, but that somebody like Keith nearly won the game when someone like yourself, Josh, who are such fans of the show, this show so well, you really think that you have what it takes to win the game? Yeah,
and Keith is a good dude, and I try to say that on the finale. I didn't want to come down on him or anything, but he doesn't really know the game. You know what I mean? And it is frustrating when you try to work with him, and he doesn't want to work with you, and he just doesn't even see the big picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. And he did well in the challenges and everything. But let me give you an example. There was, Survivor's all about communicating and building alliances and talking to people and trying to get things out of people. And there was a few times that we would all be talking, and then we turn around and say, "Where's Keith?" And Keith is over by himself, sitting in by the rocks. The water comes up on the rocks, and then when the tide goes out, the water pools, and then the sun heats it up, and it's like a little hot tub.
Mm-hmm.
And Keith would be over there by himself for hours.
Wow.
And I'm like, how does that happen? Like, if I did that, they would take me out so fast. You know, like, what's Jeremy doing? Jeremy's looking for an idol. Let's go get him. You know what I mean? It's just so, like, it's just crazy. Like, how are you not working your game plan with everybody, and you're just sitting out in the hot tub? You know, the whole thing drove me crazy. You know what I mean? It just, I guess I'm not over it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I thought I was over it, but you know, I love talking about Survivor. I like the season was fun, but like so many things, I look back and I'm like, oh, this could have happened. This could have happened. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a little sour grapes. That's all.
It's I know that if I was to ever play a game like Survivor, I would be doing the same. I would never sort of get over the fact, and I'd always be thinking about it. And we used to do a lot on this show, the what-if scenarios. We'd bring up, so if this had happened, what do you think would have happened? And we kind of stopped doing that for a little bit because it dug up those memories a little bit more, Jeremy, and we don't want to make you too upset. But yeah. the one, I mean, your vote out, we do a top 10 each week on this show where we vote, 10 different aspects of Survivor, and we did one just after your vote out of top 10 viewer blind sides, because the way it was edited, it really gave the slightest hint that you were going to be taken out, but nobody really took too much attention of it. So I know, sitting watching your episode, I was like, what the fuck? How did that happen? I can imagine for yourself at those moments. I mean, I actually just rewatched the episode this week, and your facial reaction, I think by about the third vote, you've just got this look on your face like, damn, they've got me. How angry at that point are you? You just want to turn around and throttle them all? I was
frustrated. I wasn't really angry. I was just frustrated because, like, I felt like I did so much work putting my chess pieces all into place, and right when you take out Josh, I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. In fact, I said to one of the producers, you know, when you go on your little interviews and stuff, I said, listen, I won this game. I said, you guys can start writing out that $1 million check to me right now. But I said, I got a lot of work to do. It's a long way to go, and I'm not stopping. But the way I set everything up, this game is mine. And they got me that very night.
Wow. It's incredible. That's what we were all thinking as well. We were all, as soon as Josh went, people were, yep, this is Jeremy's game, he's won it. And I know a lot of people throughout this season weren't big fans of the season. I, for one, was talking up this season. I really enjoyed it. And because I mean, as I said, I was a fan of yours, so I was like, I don't care if Jeremy's winning. I'm glad. That means that somebody who I've kind of picked from the start is going to do very well. And I mean, that's kind of the thing about the season, despite the fact that obviously, unfortunately, you voted out, it really then left it open. I mean, when you were voted out at that point, who the hell were you thinking was going to win the game?
When I got voted out, you know, I didn't know. And looking back on it, watching it on TV, I said, it sucks for me getting voted out, but for the show, it was exciting. It was great because now it's wide open and anyone could win it. I didn't think John was going to win it because I told John every time, I said, John, if they take me out, you're next because we have to protect each other. So I didn't think John was going to win it. I didn't think Nat was going to win it because first I thought Nat took me out, so I thought she was involved in that alliance, that 5-person alliance, and I thought she would have been soon to go after that, you know. I didn't know. I had no idea. Maybe Reed could have pulled it out or something. I had no idea.
Well, we're all like that. And, I mean, the incredible thing with Natalie is then that obviously it kind of lit a firecracker underneath her and she went off and she did what she needed to do. She got to the end and you gave, obviously, that, you know, sterling speech at the end to really advocate for her win. I mean, what was it about Natalie initially that drew you to her? And I'm guessing, given that you were drawn to her so closely from day one and were so close to her, that you were absolutely over the moon that she won the game.
I mean, I don't know what it was. I mean, we kind of bonded right away. It was kind of Nat, Kelly, and myself that bonded really quickly. And then when Kelly left, I was always with Nat. And then if you look back, all the challenges, it kind of worked out that I was always with Nat. And so me and Nat worked together a lot. So once I got voted out, the next few steps, I saw that she didn't take me out. And I could see what she's doing, and I could see how she's playing the game. And I was like, there's no reason for her to lose this game. Like, if she doesn't win this is a disservice to Survivor and to all the Survivor fans. And I had a whole speech for her if Keith was in the finals with her, because I figured these guys in the jury with me are going to vote for Keith because they're not, aside from, Josh and Reed, they weren't huge Survivor fans like myself. And I had a nice speech for that. But, once Keith was gone, I was like, I don't even really need to say much. She played the best, especially out of the final three. Mm-hmm. So there wasn't even much for me to say.
It was very similar, I think, like we saw that with Eric in Samoa when he kind of, tried to sell Natalie as, a winner over Russell. And then, of course, we saw that with Spencer last season with Tony over Wu. So it kind of was advocating that against the other players, which was great. And then, sadly, Reed came along and trumped your speech there, Jeremy. So
yeah, he did, yeah. Yeah, Reed's pretty good at that. Reed's all right with that speech. He was over the top. That's his thing, though, let him have that.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to get to a couple of lists of questions here because I want to get to our final five. And I think what we'll do eventually, Jeremy, we will get you back on for a longer chat, of course, because we'll get through some other stuff too eventually. But to the people who sent these listener questions in, thank you. Now, a couple of ones here. I actually got one sent in here from a former contestant, Jervis Peterson. He asked Jeremy, he says, what do you think about being compared to Jervis?
Wait, do I think? Am I compared to Jervis?
Well, it was we had Jervis and Joel on during the season for an episode recap, and somebody sent in a question saying, like, to Jervis, "Oh, have you heard there are comparisons between you and Jeremy?" So I think now Jervis is kind of making this full circle, like, "Oh, so what do you think, Jeremy, about being compared to Jervis?"
I mean, that's cool. I think it's cool. I don't think we really. I think we played totally different games. I think the only comparison that these people are linking us to is because we're both black guys, and we kind of resemble each other, like physically and stuff. But I mean, I don't know. Jervis is a good player, I appreciate that,
Yeah, thanks, Jervis, for sending that one in. Now here, Gerard Benora said, why did you spread rumours about Rocker's life outside the game to your tribe? Why even bring that into it instead of playing based on what happens in the game? Okay, so
about his life, because I thought that Rocker took out Val. Mm-hmm. I said to Rocker, this is the clue. I had the hidden immunity clue. So I said to him, listen, you keep Val safe, I'll keep Julie safe. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, he went back, took the clue, got the idol, and then got rid of Val. So I had no idea that he tried to save her. And that's why I took him out. That's why I went after him and said, this is who he is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it was emotionally, it was a bad move to do that on my part. But I was so mad that they got rid of Val that I just lashed out. He was the person that I lashed out on.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Gerard.
My plan was to go with Rocker to the end. That was my plan from the beginning of the game. I tell Val, I said, I know who that is. That's John Rocker. I need him with me. Mm-hmm. He's going to take all the bullets instead of me, and I'm just going to skate right by with him. You know what I mean? So, it was just a bad move on my part. I thought he took her out, so I just went after him.
When you watch that episode and kind of see how it played out, do you say anything to him? Do you say, "Oh, I got it slightly wrong"? You didn't exactly just go straight after her and take her out.
No, we talked about that, and actually he came up to me, and the first thing he said to me after the game was, "Listen, man, I really tried to save her." And by the time I talked to him, I already talked to Val, and I knew the whole story. So, I apologized to him. I was like, "Man, my bad. Mm-hmm. I didn't know you tried to help her." And I don't know. It was just, it's water under the bridge. He's all right with it.
Yeah.
So if he's all right with it, I'm all right with it.
I love that line during the actual season when he's walking off and he's like, "I try everything you could," and you got your confession. And you're like, "You didn't try anything you could. You got voted out."
Yeah, I did say that. Yeah, I was upset. I was really mad.
Yes. Oh, that was good. Now, I'll just ask one more here and I'll wrap it up with our final five. Joe Salate says, I think a lot of fans this season thought it was good, but not great. Obviously, there was a lot to be followed up on after how awesome season 28 was. Does it bother you when Jeff Probst said that he did not like season 29 and is glad to be moving on from it?
It doesn't bother me. It sucks that I was in that season that people are talking like that. But I mean, it was tough, you know, when they vote out some of the stronger people like that, and then like some of the plans for the final four or the final three with John and Missy that they were talking about, like it wasn't a great plan. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's not great gameplay. It's not Survivor. But the good thing is that Nat kind of pulled it together, and so you could be happy that how Nat played and how Nat won, the right person won. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I understand what Jeff's saying. You know, like it wasn't great. Some parts of the game wasn't great. You know. Mm-hmm. So I understand it, you know. It's tough for me that I was on that season, but what are you going to do, you know?
There you go. Thanks, Joe. And thanks to everyone who sent a list of questions in. As I said, we'll get Jeremy back on for a longer one, and we can get to some of these. Now, Jeremy, we wrap up every interview with a set of 5 just Survivor-based questions, just a bit of fun, opinion-based ones. And as a big fan of the show, I know you're going to want to put some thought into these. And we're speaking about Jeff just then. Question number 1, what are 3 things that you learnt about Jeff Probst during your time on Survivor?
3 things? You know what? I can give you one solid thing.
Go for it.
When I was going through the process of getting on, I was with my brother. And my brother, I don't even know if I should be saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. My brother got sent home, and they asked me who else would I bring. I said, I'll bring my wife. And my brother was kind of upset, and he went home. They put him on the next flight home, and he was at home by himself. And Jeff Probst called him on his cell phone and talked to him and tell him it wasn't you. It just wouldn't work out. And that helped my brother out so much. And I said, you guys are taking me out of my game because you guys are making my brother feel so good about him going home. I said, Jeff didn't have to do that, and that was awesome. And I respected him so much for that. And I thought it was a great thing that he did. He didn't have to do it.
Fantastic.
So, like, that one thing, like, he's the man for that, you know?
Yeah, I love hearing stories like that. I've heard similar stories like about Jeff kind of calling other people up. I think there was somebody's mother or something was sick, and like a contestant's mother, and Jeff actually rang up the contestant's mother or came and visited them in hospital, and like the person was saying he didn't have to do that, but he kind of went out of his way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, love hearing stories like that. Question number 2, out of all the seasons of Survivor, Jeremy, what's your favourite and least favourite season?
Oh, man. Jeez. My favorite season, huh? Oh. What is my favorite season?
The pressure.
Oh, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. I really liked Tony winning it. I thought his was so wild. And I don't know if that was because that's the latest in my mind that was just so crazy and wild that it just, you know, there was times in that season when I was screaming like, "Oh man, look at them! They're chasing, you know, Spencer's chasing Woo." You know what I mean? Like just things like that. I thought that was an awesome season. I don't know, like there's so many of them. You know, like Russell, all Russell season when he's just going crazy and you know he JT gives him an idol. Like that's awesome. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know. I got a whole bunch of favorites. I couldn't give you one.
That's all right.
You know?
That's all right. That works. We get that a bit. Do you have a season at all that you just don't like or particularly weren't overly fond of?
No, I mean I love Survivor. There's not a season where I'm saying like, oh, that's terrible. Even when Russell lost when he should have won, I was like, it still worked out. You know what I mean? Like I still love that season. So I mean, I can't tell you. I love them all.
Beautiful.
I don't dislike any season.
That's all right. Now, question number 3. This is the easiest question you'll get here, Jeremy, because you have to answer somebody for this one. Who is the sexiest ever contestant?
Female?
Well, you can give me a male and a female if you want to.
No, easily Val. Val is the sexiest. Easily. Come on, that's too simple.
Too simple. Question number 4. Who to you is the greatest player never to have won?
Russell.
Russell. I was going to say you can answer yourself if you want to, but we'll take Russell.
Nah, I mean, I didn't even get to play. You know what I mean? I started my thing and got it going, and then they took me out before I can even get it going. You know.
There you go.
But Russell easily, yeah.
Russell, all right. Question number 5. Who is your least favourite winner?
Ooh. My least favourite winner.
Is that a little bit...
I don't know.
You can always tweet us this, Jeremy. If you think of something later, you feel free to tweet us something, so it's all good. Like, if, it clicks. So sometimes it happens. We get people on the show, and then they'll tweet us like an hour later going, that winner, didn't like them.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Probably Fabio, I would say. I would say Fabio. I mean, I don't even know, because he seems like it's not like I didn't like him, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like he should have done more.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. No, that's fair enough. Final question for you today. Jeremy Collins, in the history of Survivor, who to you is the greatest ever player and why?
The history of Survivor, the greatest. Sandra's the greatest. Sandra has two championships. You know what I mean? We just talked about the Patriots, and Tom Brady is the best ever.
Yep.
Sandra is the best. Sandra has two. She's the best. You can't go against that.
It's 2 from 2. It's a perfect score. There you go. And you got a Tom Brady reference in there at the end too, Jeremy. So you can make yourself happy with that. You've been waiting just to mention his name. Kelly and Dale are listening to this and they're going, "Oh, Tom Brady!"
It was awesome. The game was crazy. That was awesome.
Well, mate, I will say it has been a pleasure getting you back here on the show to chat about this. As I said, we'll get you back on again in the future for a longer chat. But always a pleasure, mate. Best of luck with everything in 2015. Hopefully we'll see you on Survivor again one time in the future. And, of course, here on Survivor Oz.
Hey, thanks, Ben. Oh, Ben, can I say
Please
that I'm in for everybody on Twitter. I'm in for Mr. Survivor.
Yes.
Yeah. So Spencer is already out campaigning, and I wanted to put it up there that I'm campaigning too. I'm in the top 3. It's Spencer, myself, and Tony Vlachos.
Wow.
And I want everyone to know that I'm going. And Matt is on the other side, and we're trying to team up.
Do it.
And have this power Mr. and Mrs. Survivor thing going. So everybody put their votes in for Jeremy and Matt for Mr. and Mrs. Survivor.
Vote now. Get into it. And when we have our Oscars later this year, Jeremy, and you'll no doubt be up for Best New Player, you can be campaigning for that as well too. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'll let you know when it's closer.
All right, thanks,
and a massive thanks to Jeremy there. A big honour to have him on the show. Obviously, I'm a huge Jeremy fan, so good to get him on that capacity, and we look forward to getting him on potentially for a longer chat down the line, and of course episode recaps, I should say, getting my interviews confused there as well. But yes, and hopefully we'll get Val on very, very soon as well. In the meantime, San Juan Del Sur interviews are plenty today, of course. You've seen all the other ones up. Jeremy's here, Natalie, Jacqueline, Dale, Kelly, they're all there. And of course our rankings cast are in full swing. Make sure you download those as well, survivoroz.com. You can, of course, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube, or wherever your podcast listening services take you as well. In the meantime, my name is Ben, the Tribe Has Spoken, and we will speak to you next time on The Trains.